afternoon. So, you want to know the real reason why you're here? Is because you didn't treat your students fairly. It's not right to choose and pick favorites. What is the purpose of doing that? Why do that? Because it doesn't make sense. It's not right, and it's not being appreciative. It's not being respectful. It's not taking mature ownership of the fact that you're the one who is teaching all of them. And you're teaching children. You're teaching children. As a teacher, you need to have, as I said, respect and appreciation for all of the students, and give them the opportunities and really trust and appreciate what they can do, all of their talents, instead of choosing who you want, who you like, and giving them all the attention. Giving them solos, making them the lead of dances, putting them on a higher place of your pyramid, I mean it literally, but a higher place on your pyramid, rather than sometimes the ones who did outstanding work. Now, I can't help but say it. I remember I had a 5th grade teacher that reminded me so much of you, and you would fall into the same categories. The trouble is, though, that they've had you for a lot longer. Years upon years. I only had her for 1 year, 2 semesters. It was intense how tough she treated them, how mad she got, and how she always chose somebody to continually get mad at. And the environment was intense. The pressure and just inhibitedness. And she really just was strong and powerful. And she went on rampages. She was just tough with them. And I think that she could have been a little bit more respectful, a little bit more softer, and kinder to them. And when she got mad, she would learn from labor polarity. Well, it's all about balance and equality and fairness about treating them nicely. So before you, now I'm talking to you, before you erupt and before you insult or do whatever that's, not right and disrespectful, take some time to consideration. Actually think about what you're saying and what you're doing before you actually do it. Think about what would be the nicer thing. Now, I don't blame you when you say that you're the teacher, and I just believe in feeling inhibited not to criticize for the things that need commented on. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but it's all about the balancing of that and also treating them nicely and fairly and respectfully. And, only if, you didn't have any decency at all would you believe, think, and say that. Those kinds of things out of your mouth are wrong. They are hurtful. They show that your heart is stone cold, that you don't have feeling, and you don't have empathy, and you don't have sympathy in it. No. So, stop picking favorites. It is wrong. It is just wrong. So the next time someone does an outstanding performance, I'm not saying don't criticize on the details that need criticism, but actually go in, appreciate them, give them a hug, and really make them feel good. And, give them compliments like, you did a great job. And think of the positive sides, and if you have anything really negative to say, I wouldn't say it, or I would phrase it differently, or I would save it till later and really celebrate the victory of that win. Speaking of which, you do not need to judge the dances, the performances, just by the placing that they got. Okay, so it wasn't in winning first place. It was in second or third or fourth or fifth. Well, yes, then it needs to be in first place. But don't, why on earth would you do that? How is that a good thing? How is that reasonable, and how is that fair, and how is that really important? I would judge them on the actual performance themselves rather than body that they try to mend and change, but you can't change who you are, and the placing that you got. So what if they didn't get first place? They were outstanding. Think of those things. You just jump right to the negatives, and your bluntness and your toughness with your words, and also the impulsive, disrespectful things that you say are really going to come back to bite you, and I hope you have a lot of regrets for that. Now, getting astrological, do you, have you put in your chart birth information? Okay. Is there any areas in your chart? Your ascendant sign, or your moon sign, or Mars, Venus, Mercury? Okay, well, I bet that if you do, and you look at your certificate and look at the time especially, you'll find out, because I would think, obviously, Aries energy. The motto is, no one should act so much like a sign that they have no will in their chart. That is complete. Just no, I don't believe that. I don't buy that. It does not make sense. No, but anyway, I think that you get it, and you do not. It's like walking on eggshells. It's like walking on eggshells. You don't let them relax, and you don't let them speak with you, how you're controlling everything. It's not a very comfortable environment, and they're probably, walking on eggshells, and if they do the slightest thing, they're going to feel afraid and horrible that you're going to come down on them so harsh, and you're going to yell and get in their face and just, treat them disrespectfully. Now, I don't have a lot of words to phrase it elaborately, but basically, and those qualities that you portray, my fifth grade teacher portrayed, and you met her, right? You got to know her a little bit. And you also saw a couple of videos of her, getting mad at those students and everything. Did you find the connection to how you get mad or got mad in the show, and then how she got mad at them, and how she treated them? Okay. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Well, I understand, but all the things that you have to say, I am not in disagreement, but I think that you could have, it's all about what you're saying and then the tone that you're saying it at. You could say all the same things phrase them nicely, and you don't have to shout, you don't have to raise your voice in in the manners that you do. And I don't want to leave here today having to talk to brick wall. No. I'm not going to be somebody who's going to be backing down. This, no. Absolutely not. I'm not a person that is a doormat. I'm not a person who will just stand by the sidelines if I find something that is not supposed to be, any injustices or any. No, I think with injustices, I think that if you had a mind, and if you could go back and watch episodes of you getting mad, your skits, I think that you could figure it out, and I think that you could come to realization, consideration, and thinking about and having the understanding and empathy to realize wow, what did I do? Why did I treat those kids the way that I did? And do you not like the self-blame? I don't like it as much as anybody else. And I'm just saying this by the fact, and not that I'm in agreement with it. But truth be told, when you're feeling guilty about something, that's a positive and not a negative, because that shows you, I messed up. So I'm going to learn from these mistakes. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do that right. Talk and treat them respectfully. You can't change the past, but we can really take some self-reflection time and realize what you said and what you did and change that. And with all the stuff going on, it's just going to be such a touching and uplifting moment when you finally turn around. Because this favoritism is not going to get you very far. It's not going to get you anywhere. I think that your decision to not decision, what was I saying? But so on the show, and I'm saying you this because it is pretty realistic. I can tell the difference if something's acted out or it's realistic. Yeah, I think that is realistic, and they didn't seem to let the cameras and everything, get in the way of their freedom, relaxation that showed to be able to speak their mind, and for you to be able to speak and do things and act and everything. But so with that, you did not give, and you neglected Kendall. You did not give her a chance to shine. And I am only here to tell you this only for your own good, and because I think that if you weren't so, controlling, and the next moment you would just say something really tough and hurtful and hard and scream, and you would startle and really hurt somebody, and that tensity and that disrelaxation environment, I'm sure that she could have gone on and on with all of the injustices, all of the unfairties, all of the inequalities, all of the disrespect towards her daughter, and maybe others as well. But you need to give others time to actually listen to them and hear what they have to say and think about what is the right, what is the respectful, what is the mature thing to do. So if you just relax and say, I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to hear what you have to say, take your time. You don't have to say that exact thing, but at least convey that kind of message that freedom of speech is welcome. You can, speak your mind. So if you did something along those lines, maybe she could have gone on. But I think that I hope that she made her point pretty clear. I'm just adding in for her. So, just it, you, you didn't give her a solo. You criticized her for going back to what I was saying, unappreciated, unhonoring, disrespectful, not realizing that she does have talent, not complimenting and encouraging, and allow her to use that talent that she has. And um, that's just wrong because she had a lot of it just like everybody else, and she was just probably an excellent dancer. She had a lot of skills. She was a very, very strong group member. There were a lot of things. Unfortunately, you're expecting children to be so perfect, and you nitpick for every little detail, when instead you could have talked about the positives and not watch the negatives and not get critical about every little detail. That is just common sense disrespect for you to not be appreciative and be, of her talents and everything else. Criticizing her for, all her body. It's like we can do things to change this around. We can move, do whatever, to fix things, to make things look good. Bottom line, we can't change our bodies. If our legs, can't get straight or whatever, then okay. But that's how those little details sometimes are not important. Are not important. I'm not saying that they're not important, but I'm saying that it's not nice to think of those things and say them bluntly and disrespectfully, especially, first coming out on the stage, finishing finishing a performance. That's not really complimenting. That's not really nice and appreciated. But so those little details, some of that you need to filter. You need to think of what is actually concrete, what is most important, what is kind. And I can tell that you're a Virgo. I can tell, although you're more of an Aries than a Virgo. A lot of Aries energy, a lot of fire energy. Maybe a Leo, a lot of Leo, but I don't know. So you're a Virgo. September 21. I looked at your birthday. And the lesson for Virgo is not to judge yourself and others so critically. Nobody's perfect, and that is the reality. To not look at the little details and focus on the bigger picture, and to actually think about when you're helping somebody, then you're realizing, why is there tears? Why is everybody, why did they get offended? Well, that's natural for Virgos when they criticize and others. Well, maybe look yourself in the mirror and think of what is nice to do and have respect for respect and loyalty, and give them confidence and relaxation. Give them appreciation. Now, I remember when I was in high school, I remember sitting in a room. There was a sign that I can't remember what exactly it said, but it was basically saying that someone will do great if they feel appreciated, not pressured, not challenged, not treated unfairly and disrespectfully and toughly. Some of it is unnecessary pressure, but someone who feels appreciated will go far, and that's only natural. And getting off the little details and kind of just accepting those things. Nobody can be perfect. No one can be perfect. And some of those things you just have to accept. you what why are you criticizing over those things if they're unchangeable? Like there's not any purpose. Like there's a lot of things that could be changed, and I think that changing the routines up every week is a little bit tough. So you may want to think of extending the time of training and practice and everything. But so you think of trying to think so just forgetting just a little unnecessary and disrespectful, insulting details, focusing on the things that are most important, focusing on the big picture, not getting into the little details when you notice like the slightest thing. It makes others feel uncomfortable. It doesn't give them confidence and respect, and it makes them nervous. And when someone is on them, like really like tough and pressuring on them, then that also contributes to the stress levels and to just the nervousness and everything else, causing them to not do as well as they might be if they didn't feel relaxed, they didn't feel respected, they didn't feel appreciated. So if you want them to do well, if you want them to get first place, if you want your dances to be as perfect as you can be, actually take into consideration that you're dealing with people, that you're dealing with children, and treat them with a little bit more dignity and respect and loyalty, and give them more chances and appreciation, and be fair. Be fair. Oh, let them in to a kind and forgiving and light, comfortable environment. Comfortable environment. You wonder why there's so much drama with everything. Well, I'm not saying all of it. Some of it is on your case. So you have control of yourself. You are proactive. So on your case, you need to think about things and what you're doing. You need to be conscious and think rightly. And then realize, oh my goodness, I did overspeak, but this was really rude to me. And you should say, like, I'm sorry for saying that. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, or just give them encouragement. Like a lot of the times, like, I would really like to see you here almost every time, give them confidence before going on stage, and hug them, even if they mess up, even if they don't do good, even if they don't get first place, then even so, say, it's okay. This is what we're going to work on next time. I'm not saying don't criticize for those things, but make them feel good. Make them feel appreciated, even if they didn't do so well. And don't think of the places that dance is at. Think of the actual dance itself. The actual dance itself. And the quality of it. Because they do so much. They work so hard for you. But it pains them, and it's just not right. And with all those things I said about being disrespectful, whatever, someone doesn't have appreciation for that, and that someone doesn't, you don't really think about how hard that they're working, and how much of a diva and a control freak and boss that you are, and you don't think before you speak twice. It's impulsiveness, and that will really mess you up, and you won't have many friends. You wonder why you have drama with the mothers. Well, if you act that way, then people will back away, and people will not want to be with you, and they will not want to be part of your dance studio. If you act that way, it is not going to get you very far. And I'm really glad that you chose. I'm actually kind of surprised that you chose to come here and listen to my spiel. Might have been long, it might have been repetitive a lot of the times, and you were probably thinking, just stop talking, I get it. But that was just making up for all of those times and to really make it crystal clear for you. So I think that I did. I would be surprised if I didn't. And I hope that this helped, and I hoped because I think that you needed a good talking to and a right mind to hear these kinds of things. And I'm only doing it because I care. Because I do this to make people better, to make them that the best they can be. You try to do that, but show the niceness, showing it. Because how are they going to know if you don't show it through words and kindness and just all of those things I said before. So that's what I want to say. If I forget any little detail that I should have added in that might have been good, then we'll come back and I'll just make sure that that's said. But other than that, I think that so you know what I'm saying. You know what I said. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Wonderful. Yes. Great. Wonderful. Good. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we can't change the past. Can't change what we did. We can't change the future. We can make amends for all the wrongs that we did and start fresh. Think of this as cardinal. Think of this as starting fresh. A new beginning. I am changing my ways and becoming a nicer person. And it's only reasonable, it's only right, it's only decent to do those things to allow them the chances to be appreciated. That you're not a military leader. You're not training your cadet soldiers for something. Or something else just unbelievable and demanding. Because that's just not nice. That is not nice to children. Children. We said all of these things to children and their mothers. They came across as hurtful. They were only children. Okay, and even if they were adults, I would still just be the same thing. Especially children now. Because children, just like us, they treat them fairly. Nobody is perfect. And you are not God. You do not, take ownership, and, you are not responsible for designing everybody. You cannot expect others to be perfect in your little bubble, because there's so much that we can do to live up to your high expectations. So much that we can do, that they can do. But that's very degrading. That's very, just satisfying and devastating. It hurts them. It is dismaying. And here's another thing. It really ruins their self-esteem. It's not good for the mental health or anything if you're there, giving them trash and everything all the days about the little details and yelling at their faces and being tough. If you notice something, just say it normally. Just say it kindly and neutrally. And if you're completely frustrated, in the moment, and I could benefit this as well as everybody else, take some time, think about what you're going to say before you say it. This feels silly to have to tell you this, but think about what you're going to say before you say it. Think about what would be the nice thing of those mothers are unreasonable, and you need to take in consideration, treat them fairly. All of what they do. Think about, don't judge them on these insulting, critical details about their bodies. On the positives, a picture of what they did. If they were outstanding or not. And if they weren't, then by goodness sakes, don't be tough and hard on them. Give them forgiveness and show that you care. And give them love and care and respect for their mistakes. So that's all I'm really saying to you is that. Just focus on how well. Okay, again, the numbers, they don't matter. It's all about the dance itself. So it's not practical. It does not matter. It doesn't count. It's not important to focus on the numbers that they got. Okay, yes it is. Wanting to make sure that they are in first place. But don't get that ingrained in your mind, because it's really bad. Makes your mind unhealthy. And put that on the back burner. That's not nice. That's not important. Yes, it is. But weigh them down. What's more important is, the actual performance. So, I hope that you change. I hope that you're less tough on them. Don't be afraid to criticize. Do not be afraid to say what you notice. But remember that they're kids. Just like everybody else. They are human beings. They are not your little puppets. They're not your little, they're human beings. They're not animals. So treat them like human beings and show that you care for them like human beings. And you may treat them that way, but they don't know. Things come across differently than you intend a lot of the time. So you need to take ownership and you need to show them. You need to show your students. Give them that. So I am really the voice of Lucy. So